Yale Breslin in the house, self-made, New York, man of the hour, Yale Breslin, a very good friend of mine, but also just a general boss, launching so many different and exciting things, from working for Jay-Z to a very important big brand that we couldn't mention on the podcast, to all the fun, exciting ventures that he's launching in the near future. We get into all of it, the nitty gritty, what it's like being 40, how that lands, how it doesn't land. And I'm just so excited for you guys to listen to the conversation. Hi, Yale.
Hi.
Welcome to the Getting High podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy you're here.
Me too. This is
Matching
cool.
in our cashmeres.
Yeah, we are.
You cool down?
Yeah.
But then I put you by the fire.
I know, but now there's like the roaring fireplace in springtime in Toronto.
Anyways, Yale Breslin.
Yeah.
Everyone here that's listening, if you are listening, this is Yale. He's
Hi.
a friend, but also someone that I really admire.
Thank you.
Boss man. Came from, let me get this straight, North Toronto.
I did.
I tried to remember where you went to school with Alyssa and everyone, and it was like Earl Bales Park. It was like Earl, and then Earl Higgs.
Did anybody correct you?
No, Dahlia and I just chat GPT'd it.
No, it was before that. I met all those people.
Yeah, where?
Claude Watson. So Claude Watson was, Brett Henry went there, Alyssa Beach, Jen Ehrlich, shout out.
Okay, wait, but like, did you guys just like dance all day? I'm kind of confused.
So I guess my parents knew that I had an artistic side when I was younger, and I was interested in
the arts.
Yeah. And was like my comfort zone, and that's what I like to do.
Yeah.
So at the time, I think it's changed, but Claude Watson had an audition process.
Ooh.
So every Saturday for, I don't know, maybe it was a month. I can't remember. We had to audition. It was like Juilliard. We had to audition, and we would go for the full Saturday, and we would do a rotational program of mime, dance, visual arts, pottery. There's so many, all the arts, and audition. And like the teachers would watch us and see how we sort of did within these respective fields.
Wow.
And I was there from grade 4 to grade 8. And
So you're working on those different skill sets during school, like other than your traditional subjects. Like you're like, I'm going to go like finish math and head to mime, and then maybe go to like
that's exactly what it was.
And then like maybe I'll do some pottery, and like that's so
exactly
fun. That's like camp. Actually.
It was super fun, and it was super cool. Like we would have English, math, mime, lunch, gym, drama, national dance, pottery.
National
dance.
Fun.
The people who went to Claude Watson, and I hope there's some of them out there who are listening to this, because Claude Watson was a wild time.
Feels like a cult a bit.
It was like a lot of fun. And it was a group of like creative, like-minded kids who would practice the arts. Whereas every other school, nobody was doing...
it was just traditional curriculum, or like maybe IB.
So that was Claude Watson.
So that's where you started up until,
So that's exactly it. It was Claude Watson, which was the junior school. From grade 4 to grade 8.
Yeah.
And then grade 8.
Where are we going for high school now?
Earl Haig. But Earl Haig is where there was the Claude Watson arts program within Earl Haig. And I did that for, I think, a year or two, and then I dropped out.
And you went to?
I stayed at Earl Haig.
Oh, okay.
And then I went to another school called City Academy for my final year before I went to Western. Yeah.
There's people that went to either City or they went to Metro. It's just like
No, I feel like Metro was actually a real school.
City was like a fake
City was a bit of a fake school. And there was another one. This is really niche. Sola.
Of course.
Sola.
Of course.
People like went to Sola
to get into university.
And I needed some help with my grades. I was an okay student.
So you've done all these things. You go to university. You're like figuring it out. You go to New York.
Mm-hmm.
You land some crazy jobs in New York, and like you were just like funny. You're like annoyingly funny. Like you would always go to New York and like be friends with someone new, and then like someone back here would be like, "Did you hear who Yale's friends with now?" And, like you're like beaming, but like trying to be cool. That you're like friends with the Olsons or whatever. We're like trying not to ship bricks, but you're just being I'm friends with Mary Kay. Like, we just like grab coffee, and we're all just like, "Cool, Yale." Yeah, we're like, nobody's in Toronto. This is like a big deal, but like. You really figured it out. You had this ability to like whatever, just land like you're self-made. You really like people in New York, they get swallowed by that city sometimes. I lived there. I felt like I really enjoyed being in the fashion world and doing what I did, and like landed so many connections and stuff. But like every industry is so booming. It's so competitive. It's like how do you even feel like you can have that like confidence and that like ability to stand out there and grind it out? And you've been there for a while now. So like,
yeah, I mean, I've been in New York for maybe 18 years now, something like that. I've been
crazy
for a really, really, really long time. My life is there. My friends are there. I've had family there, you know, like it's really where I live. It's really where and my professional career is there too.
Right.
But I know this might sound a little odd, but I think part of the reason why you said I stand out in New York or whatever you said, or have made an impression in New York City, which is a tricky city to live in.
Yeah.
Yes, it has to do with like what I do, and I'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
But I think it has a lot to do with my name, Yale. Like I genuinely think—
Whoa, branding, right to the branding.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with the name Yale stands out.
I think you're like taking away a little bit of your credit.
I'll get there for sure.
Okay, fine. I agree from a branding, and I'm not going to take that away from you also, Mr. Creative. I agree with you. It's catchy. I mean, we all have heard of it. It's not a typical name. Good job, Janice. But like,
I guess I just mean like, I'll meet people and they don't forget the name Yale because they've never heard it. I think in the United States, no one's ever really heard the name Yale. Now it's maybe a little bit more popular. Growing up, I knew a bunch of Yales in Toronto. So yeah, maybe
I feel like I don't really agree with you, but keep on going. Like I literally think if like there's so many names that are not that common that if you heard of and they were a fucking dud, like you'd be like, okay, bye, Giuseppe.
Okay, maybe it is. It is a little something.
Like, okay, Lanny. I agree. I feel like I actually know some other Lannys. It's not as common. You know a few Yales too. Obviously, it's
but not in New York.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Mm-mm. And I get compliments on my name all the time.
Okay.
All the time. So maybe that's one thing that is.
Okay, so I think that like this actually is, how do you say so humble? Because like trying to think of it, let's talk about that. Like, yes, you have a very catchy name, Yale. But you also have a lot of amazing skill sets that have allowed you to venture off and do different things in a city that has allowed you to stand out. You work for, can we talk about that? We can't talk about what company you work for. You work for a big American fashion brand.
Yeah. There's a logo. Ride it. Yeah. There's a logo.
Okay. Anyways, yeah. There's a brand that you work for that's pretty big. It's actually really popular right now.
Yeah.
Actually, some of the stuff's like not actually probably so popular in Canada.
Well, the interesting thing about this brand, it's a very preppy brand, but do you know the new definition of preppy? Like, do you know what
like
preppy
by
means
who?
now?
By like Webster?
By TikTok, by Gen Z.
Yeah.
Preppy doesn't mean what we think it means. We think it means
sweater over the shoulder.
Sweater over the shoulder, country club vibes, equestrian elements, a little bit uppity. Like I think preppy feels like a little
how I
uppity.
It, yes.
Twin sets, you know.
Yeah.
Preppy today, what the kids are talking about, preppy today means it's a little bit like young rich. It's like the Love Shack fancy skirts, the Nike, the Air Force Ones, I feel like is a little bit preppy. Golden Gooses are considered incredibly preppy.
Okay, I know where you're going with this. It's like you've got money, but you don't got style.
Yeah. And I haven't been to a bat mitzvah or a bar mitzvah in a while.
Not sponsored by Golden Goose.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's like what the girls wear to bar and bat mitzvahs these days. It's like maybe a tank top or a nice shirt, a little floral Love Shack fancy something.
Yes.
And their Golden Goose shoes.
But that can translate to adult style as well.
Yeah, it can.
But it's got a youthful flair.
It has a youthful flair.
Okay, so it's more than just cringe.
I guess. Wait, I totally didn't answer your question, but I think
about what?
I don't know.
Standing out?
I think fundamentally people like to talk about themselves. I actually don't. So that's why this is a little tricky for me because historically throughout my career, I've been in your seat. I've been asking people questions and getting them to open up and interviewing them for whatever the medium, whatever the format is.
Okay.
On the flip side, right now, I'm the one being interviewed. But I'm in this like weird mindset where I'm trying to relinquish control and let you do your thing.
How are you feeling? I feel like we're just talking a bit. Are you good?
I feel fine. I feel good. But think about it.
I know you're like Well, first of all, I actually can because I was on another podcast prior to this and I kind of showed up and I wasn't the one leading the questions and I kind of was there just having a lot of the dialogue. So it's similar to that. Like I was just more rolling with the punches and going with it versus like being the lead. Like if you're having to hold a conversation.
Yeah.
Question and act. And like you're not good at relinquishing control. No, I'm not. Seeing a little bit.
But I also think your seat is tricky too, because what you need to do is
bring us all back to where we're going.
Exactly.
Yeah. On the train.
You have your thing over there where you're following the questions. You know where you want this conversation to go with me. And we can go off on tangents, but it's your responsibility to be like listening to me, but be a few seconds ahead of me and pick up on the soundbite to bring it back to where you need it to be.
You know what? This is where, honestly, ADHD, superpower.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to articulate what it is that I'm able to do, but like this actually even stresses me out a little bit because it's like, I know I'm so much better here. Just like, I know already the things that I've prepped for and talked about.
Yeah.
Okay, back to academia or like what you think you need to do. Like to prep for something, you think you have to like memorize something and then do something. Even for something like this, we always like laugh at like, I'm like, is it professional enough? Is it this or that? Like, and it's like, you're just so drilled to live your life through this one lens of like how we're supposed to digest and to learn and to be. And like, this is whatever the fuck I want to make it. This is my podcast. I'm talking to people who I want to talk to about things that like, I don't have, but like, there's always going to be that barrier that's like, can I just be that like,
I hear you.
You know,
I do.
Vulnerable, balls out. There's that. I don't really even want to go off this because I just want to go. But at the same time, I don't think you and I realize how, even though you're in the seat right now, how we have a skill set that a lot of people don't. And I think that's why also Yale's also launching his own podcast. Yeah, it's the funniest thing, but like you're obviously, like I said, way more connected and like just funny than me. And I'm like, I called you up. I'm like, yeah, I've got something to tell you. He's like, me too. I'm like, let's say it at the same time. No, I didn't. But I'm like, 1, 2, 3. I'm like, we're launching a podcast. And it was like, I'm like, oh yeah, really? Like, I'm like, I am. He's like, yeah, me too. And I'm like, oh yeah, cool. And like yours was just like, not that this isn't obviously so impressive, but like just even your lineup and everything, it's just fun. It's fun and it's exciting. And like,
it is.
I don't think I didn't realize until I was kind of actually in this seat and I've done a few more than you now. And like, I realized that you just have to almost like trust your instinct that you have enough intuition to know what you're talking about, how interested you are in the guest, and let the conversation flow. And like, if I don't get to question 3, like nobody knows what I prep for. I rather people just like actually hear what you have to say and be engaged. My problem is I don't shut the fuck up. So like I talk over my guests sometimes.
You
like
do?
Not because what I think that what I'm saying is more important. I just like I'm like a hyperactive dog, and like I really want to. And yeah, and
you're
I'm like
excited.
Yeah,
you're excited,
and I try to relate things just to I don't know. Anyways, but yes, I do agree. This is not like. It's fun. It's a lot of things going on. You can't just kind of be in this linear thing when you're doing it.
But it's sort of applicable to, I've been in therapy on and off, whatever. And I think it's amazing. And in previous sessions, I've gone in sort of with a game plan of what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
And it's sure, that's great. And there's other times where I go in without having anything to really talk about.
Like thinking about even canceling because you're like, what, I'm like good today.
But my therapist once told me, she was like, that's sort of where the magic happens, when like you sort of relinquish control.
Yes.
You're not following your blueprint. You have your thoughts and you're just sort of seeing where the conversation goes. And like you have aha moments and different memories are unearthed.
Right.
So
that's to me, that's actually real authenticity. Like Lori was just on the show, who designed, and she was like, I feel like I'm having a conversation. I'm like, but that is actually the point, because and I think what people actually want to listen to, at least I do, is like what people, at least that I view credible and what they're like, are like, want to hear. My favorite thing is what they're saying behind it. It's like no one wants the polished anymore.
No, they don't.
And from a branding thing, this was like not even script, but I do want to go there because right now it's like everyone wants that undrawn, like undone. I'm not trying, like everyone's trying to be like the Parisian thing. No one wants those ads anymore that are like just the pastels and the perfect font. So like what shifted here, do you think? Like what's going on right now where everyone's like kind of like, I don't give a fuck era, like especially the younger gen, some of the stuff that they're doing, like it's totally changing. And I'm finding as I'm launching this brand, I'm sure as you're exploring stuff with your brand, like there's trends and stuff to pick up on, but it's funny. It's like it's really evolving.
Totally. I think a lot about, I think people are kind of sick and tired of the idea of being perfect.
Right.
And I think in social media, when it comes to Instagram, we're wired in a certain way where it has to show the best moments of our lives for the most part.
Yeah.
I think some people are doing it actually really well, showing the moments that aren't so colorful, that aren't so beautiful, that are a little bit sad and a little bit more vulnerable. But I do think in the TikTok world, which is, a platform. Yeah, exactly. It's just different. It's a little bit more carefree. It's not as polished. And I think people have the opportunity to shine there and show off who they really are. And I think for so long, people have put on this mask of perfection and put that image out there. And no one actually wants to see that. No one, we all know it's fake. It's not real.
No. Well, and it honestly immediately makes you feel bad about yourself.
I mean, it's terrible. It doesn't make you feel good about yourself. And I think we as consumers and as customers are more discerning than that now. I think we can see through it and we don't want it.
Right. So it's the really authentic things that are landing with people. Like, I think so. Right. Like that's kind of that's at least what's working for me.
I think so.
Because it's like, and there's so many different formats now to digest information. You're not just having to go to one. So you can have these like, how do you feel about Substack?
Do
you use it or
no,
you
I
into
don't.
it?
I don't use it. I don't follow anybody. I don't read anybody.
It's interesting because I like.
Do you have one?
I don't have one. I'm thinking about doing one for this because I just find it's kind of this new modern way to get information out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've actually told so many people they think I work for Substack. Like I
really?
Literally should get commission. No, I've told so many people put them onto it and they're now because for me, for example, getting information right now, whether it's from fashion to whatever, politics to news, I want to listen to who I want to listen to right now. I can't. When you turn on the TV, you're getting one narrative and it's typically one side or the next. Fox News is this side, it's you get what you're getting. So I now like to follow people where I find the conversation is more two-sided. It's somewhere more in the middle,
I think people...
The Free Press, Barry left the New York Times to start her own, media company that I think... So I get that through Substack. And every day there's different articles and it's not just one-dimensional or one-sided. It's very diverse and it gives me the news in a way where I feel like it's not slanted just because those are ad dollars or this or that or just because of the capitalist market we live in. So it just feels like I can digest it So Substack, going back to it, it's got a mix between... video, you can upload videos. You can also do more a blog format post where it's anything. For me, it's if you want something for fashion, you can literally get anything because they can link it through easily.
But it's not. It's not branded. It's not like you're following. I'm making this up. Balenciaga's Substack. You're following
you're following experts and people from and what it is about this though. This is the best tool. So as an entrepreneur, as someone that builds brands. It's all about your database. It's all about your mailing list. If no one's watching, if no one's getting your message, then it doesn't matter what you're doing. This is a built-in subscription list. So it's already anyone on Substack subscribes, and it's either you pay for a level, if you're of an expert enough, that's the eyeballs are already there. You don't have to go in and create that yourself. So it's really smart if you're launching something and you want to build an intimate connection with your follower, you have this touch point where you're not starting from zero. I just know personally how hard it is from building a business to build up that database.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Mine was so puny at the end of my 10-year business or whatever. It's really hard. And then to have a loyal following.
And it's really hard to get people to continuously subscribe.
Right. So then you start them off. So Substack often, if you're not someone that can actually get that $9 subscription fee a month, you start off free. Then people they're already on the platform.
Become invested in it.
You're now suggested because someone likes plants and now you're into plants. So I just think it's a really smart way to bring information together in a modern way. You can kind of control it a little bit.
Well, I think the nice thing about Substack is you can Lanny's iPad, I'm making it up. That's your vessel. Your Substack feed is the people who you want to follow.
Right, it's personalized.
It's personalized. So you've essentially created your own TV network.
Yeah.
So it's not Fox, it's not CNN, it's not ABC, it's not whatever. It's the voices that you want to hear, which I'm sure are on different sides. It's not just all one note, but you get to follow who you want to follow.
Right.
Which is super personalized.
Which is good. I guess there could be good and bad with all that when you think about it. Because if you're just very one-sided, you're only following one. But I guess where I see it as a really useful platform, it's a digestible way to get your information. Okay. And I love that. I can find out my news, my fashion stuff, everything under one thing by it comes in your email. I should work for this.
I think it's really hard to get people to stop for a second. I do. I think we are inundated with messages, whether it's X or whether it's Instagram or whether it's TikTok or whether it's the subway outside or whether it's the phone calls that you're getting, the text messages, you're inundated with messages. And I think it's really hard to get somebody to stop. And I think what gets somebody to stop is oftentimes personalities, because I think you're getting something authentic that you can relate to, or at least you want to learn more about.
Okay, well then let's pivot right there, because people are going to have to stop to listen. You're launching a podcast coming out in a little bit. So people are going to have to stop to listen to that.
Yeah.
And like, you're going to have to say something. And like, this is another thing that I'm dealing with, because I just like launched this in its own, version, doing it on my own. You really have to like put yourself out there. Like, I'm not just going to like be a stylist somewhere and I'm helping people doing something I love, but this is really like, I have to like, and it's not that taking away from the validity of the guests and what they're saying, but like, people are tuning in also to like hear me and my personality. It's a brand.
It is.
And you have to really believe in yourself.
And it's
it's very vulnerable.
State to be in.
Right.
It's scary. I think it's super scary, but I think that's where like the magic actually happens.
Right.
Like you and we spoke a little bit about, 40th birthdays, which I just turned 40, but and it was a big deal for me. Turning 40 was a big deal for me.
Let's just go there for 1 second, because I'm like going there next week. Monday's my birthday. And like, I'm like, I have so much good going on, but there's a lot of buildups to stuff. Like right now, it just doesn't feel like time to like slow down and celebrate and put the attention on me, just where I'm at in my life. So I'm like, have fun things going on, but I'm like, let's just simmer through this year and see where we land. But like, everyone feels this number very differently where they are.
And you don't feel... Do you feel fine about it?
I feel very confused about age. It's like a really tricky thing right now, because it's not that I give a fuck about the number, but honestly, I don't. I honestly, like, I have so many mentors and people that I look up to that are older. It's nothing to do with that. It's not to do with the looks thing. It's really how you feel. And like, I've had such life transformations, I would say, over the past 3 or 4 years that like that and like transforming there feels more pertinent to me than like, as a biologically certain things as a woman for sure, but more like I am just happy that I started putting some of this stuff together before my 40s. That's how I'm thinking about it.
But that's awesome. That's great. That shows that you got your life into a spot by the time you turn 40 that's better for you.
I think so.
I think so too.
But don't you think that about yourself?
I do.
So then,
I do.
So what was scary about? Like, I mean, just in terms of the celebration about it, or what?
The number 40 is a big one. No, that's just how I feel.
It's like if you're getting to 80, that's like your midlife. You're midlife.
You're sort of midlife.
Yeah, you are.
I struggle with, am I where I want to be? Whatever that means at 40. Like
your success, which is
success, relationships, love, health, looks, but like, is that where I live, what I'm doing, what I've done? I think it's just a big number to recognize.
And who are you? That's all just your thoughts. That's
it's all
right.
Me.
Well, because none of that, that's just all external factors.
It's all me.
I'm not saying society does not play into that, because obviously it would be naive to be like, well, of course at 40, if I didn't have this or that, I wouldn't be checking it off.
I'm kind of envious of people who don't view 40 as a big thing, because I do. I viewed it as a really big thing. So I wish I could approach it like others did, not having as much like gravitas surrounding it. It was a big one for me. It was a super big one for me.
Yeah. Well, now that you've turned it, do you feel any different? Was there like built up anticipation to now? Because like, I feel like you're doing so many cool things with your life in so many good ways that there's like this external pressure that just doesn't necessarily need to be there.
Somebody once told me this, and I don't know how I feel about it, but somebody once told me this. They said, nobody takes you seriously until you're 30. And they told me this when I was like 28 or 29. And I was like, okay, I hear it. It's in my mind. I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm not letting go of that.
Yeah.
I think there is some truth to it. I think I really found a lot of confidence late 30s into 40.
Okay.
Enough so that, like, you mentioned I am doing a podcast.
You're able to lean in.
Where I'm able to lean in and I'm not as scared as I used to be. There's still moments where I'm fucking petrified.
I mean,
like,
preaching to the
really
choir.
Crazy to host a show and put yourself out there and sell it to potential guests and have them believe in you and write the questions and navigate it and, take these questions and answers that we're talking about and give tidbits as to your personal life and my personal life.
Right.
It's a lot to put out there and then edit it and put it out into the world. and let people do what they want with it.
Right.
That's a lot.
Right. And things land and things don't land and this or that. But the whole thing is, it's like, I like, this is like literally my ongoing conversation in therapy. I'm like, but does anybody care? Like, and that's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I care because this is so personalized. So when you're in it, it's like so hard to objectively like, well, and so I think that that's also just staying humble. And like, that's the other way I'm going to say it. You're not sitting here like, everyone gives a shit about everything I'm saying. I think both you and I are like, we know this is a skill set. It comes naturally to us, but it's also one of those things, like we said, back to all the stuff. This isn't something that like, A, they teach you to do. B, this isn't like when you would have said back in the day, like, what are you doing with part of your career? This is what you could be, X, Y, and Z. Like, this is all like really for a form of the arts.
I think everything that I have, so this podcast that I'm launching, and I'll talk about it for sure. It's not launching for a while, so if you're listening, come back in a few months. But the whole thing is centered around meaningful and interesting conversations with guys about their wins, about their struggles, about their successes, about their journeys, about their vulnerabilities, about how they navigate their lives. I might be painting it in a really serious light. It's fun.
No, it's casual, a good time. But it's important.
There's substance behind it.
There's conversations that are happening in public and
exactly
open.
Exactly. And I'm finding guys who I'm interested in, inspired by, who I find fascinating, whether it's a celebrity or a doctor or a teacher or a CEO or a budding entrepreneur. I want to create this community that feels sort of like a safe space for guys to have open dialogues and eliminate a lot of the stigma and fear about being judged.
No, like, wait, did you like do a lot of market research on this? Because you're like spot on with so much of the stuff that's like very pertinent, which is also like happening right now in society.
I did.
Because like, it's like, I'm reading the stats sitting here and I'm like mortified, literally, because I have 3 young boys. And when you tell me that 1 in 4 are young men in the morgue because of suicide and all this, or like, I don't know, I definitely fucked up that stat, but it's really sad. And it's young white men are struggling like no other. And then you sit here and kind of like where we're at in the world, the fact that white men are struggling, I could kind of laugh at a little bit. But at the same time, like, clearly every group is being victimized to some degree, but this needs to be taken seriously because what's happening right now is there's the men in this world. This is kind of how I see it. And I'm not one, but I'm trying to raise good men and good boys to become men. And I grew up with 3 brothers and I feel like I've grown in. And I think just in general, that there's not these safe spaces for men to be men.
Yeah, I fully agree.
And I don't think that there's one version of a man, and that's not what works for everyone anyway. So to like have society like impose these restrictions on men that they're not even capable of living up to, so then themselves are, having issues with like the standards that are not even
100%.
right. So it's like these just barometers that we're putting on ourselves that don't need to be happening. And if there was more, like, I'm literally reading a book called Decoding Boys. And it was just because it's like understanding like what's going on. Like, we're built differently, and that's also okay.
It's
and
totally
to understand
okay.
that and the comforts that come with how women can so easily talk about things and create communities and resource for themselves a little bit more naturally. Like,
guys don't.
They don't. And that's like, and it don't have to be woke. It doesn't have to be all these things. It's just like, there are things, and like, let's be okay with it, and let's help out the other to balance this all out.
For sure.
That's why there's both of us,
I think everything that I have done professionally has brought me here. And I'll explain it.
Okay.
I think I used to be a magazine editor.
Okay.
So I moved to New York. I worked for a few magazines. I was responsible for a lot of stuff. It was a lot of celebrity interviews. If they had a new movie coming out, Yale, go interview them, write a story about them, whatever it may be. I worked for a few fashion publications, a few entertainment publications. I had a really good time and got amazing learning. But in that process, the best learning was understanding how to connect with somebody like this. And usually quite fast. If it was a big celebrity, I maybe had 20 minutes with them max.
Okay.
And like, you need to.
And what does connecting like this mean? So people understand, because it is a skill set and you have to make someone feel comfortable that they're going to give you enough that you're going to work with it, right? Like, so what are you doing to do that? Because that's
I don't know, honestly. I think that's probably the special sauce that you certainly have, and I'd like to think that I have.
Yeah.
It's that
it's just your personality
it's
type.
just our personality types.
Yeah, I get that though.
I think it's something that we are able to make people feel, for the most part, because there's always exceptions. I've bombed a few times, but we are able to make people feel comfortable almost immediately.
Yeah.
That then there's this like mutual trust that is established where they feel as if they can. I'm not also going crazy deep, asking them real, nuances about their personal life, but I think there needs to be this immediate trust that's established in order for them to feel like they can reveal something about themselves 100%. To me. So yeah, I worked for a whole bunch of magazines, and then I went to go work for Jay-Z for a while, which was a super cool gig. Maybe you've heard of him. He had, it doesn't exist anymore, but he had a website and a YouTube channel that I helped to edit. And it was basically what he wanted to do. It was the sickest gig ever. It was so cool. Mm-hmm. It was so cool. I look back on that with like the most fond memories. My job, so basically, I'll take a step back. Jay-Z was launching Life and Times, which is this platform, this like media platform that I was involved in. The reason that he did it is because he wanted to position himself in the world as more than just a music mogul.
Yeah.
He wanted people to know.
Lifestyle.
Exactly. It was the beginning of sort of the lifestyle conversation. He wanted to position himself as, I have
What year are we? This is like, no.
Do you know, I have no idea.
No, but I do.
This was maybe like 12 years ago.
Yeah. Because it's when I was in, it was right before, I think I remember this. This is when your gig right before I left.
Exactly.
And I started my other business in 2013.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So he wanted to position himself as this like individual who had lots of varied interests. Okay. He was interested in sports. He's interested in architecture. He's interested in science. He's interested in travel. He's interested in music. He's interested in up-and-coming designers. Right. He's interested in interiors.
He's well-cultured.
Well-cultured.
Yeah.
And I think there was a point where he was only known for his music. Right. And he was like, no, I got a lot more to me.
Yeah.
I got a lot more to me, and I want the world to see it. So my job on the team was to come up with what all the stories were.
Right.
There's a new hotel opening in the south of France. It's inspired by... I'm fully making this up. It's inspired by your favorite book, the writings of your favorite book.
Right.
Let's go there. Let's interview the architect. Maybe we want to get a little video crew together.
Right.
Let's film this and let's show the world how interesting this is and what your point of view is and what your lens is on this project. So
you're working very closely with him.
Yeah. Yeah, I was.
Very cool.
It was really cool.
The private guy, I've heard, right?
Yeah. It's super private.
Right.
I mean, he... was awesome to work for, and it's an experience that I would never take away because I learned so much from him. But Lainey, everybody answered my email. Like I was there was,
you were like untouchable.
It was wild for like a 20-something.
What was
to
your
be going
email? You're like Yale at Jay-Z at thefuckingbest.com.
It was the craziest thing.
Yeah.
I remember I was sent to, this is a funny story. I was sent to Croatia to test drive a new Bentley.
Stop.
I suck at driving. I had to have my dad back out his car from the garage literally yesterday because I was going to break the mirror. Like are
you sure this email is for what?
I was flown to Croatia on behalf of him as his representative to private. They flew me privately on the Bentley plane to Croatia from New York City to test drive a car.
Wow.
And hang out and like get the royal experience and then come back and talk about what I thought of the car. I was like, it's clean. It's nice. It's brown. Like, I don't know. Wrong guy. But like, I was not caught up in the world that he operates in. Do you know what I mean? Like
well, that's what I was gonna say. I feel like it's business. He gave you a big creative job to just kind of perform the outlet for it. But then other than that, it was like all kind of
the access was wild. The access was super wild. And sometimes I look back on it. It's like, yeah, there was a crazy, and that's just like one of many, many things that I got to do.
One of the biggest like music moguls, also cultured, like artists and, this day and age trust you to launch their creative content. For
it's totally insane.
Platform.
It makes no sense.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So like when you say a jail's just the name, it's clearly more than that. It's just like you're able to let people in, they trust you, and then you're able to deliver on creative. And that's also another thing. Because it's not
For sure.
Something people can always deliver on.
I think I have been in my life, I've freelanced a lot.
Yeah.
And I've been a consultant a lot.
Yes.
And I've also had full-time gigs too.
Right.
But I think I'm a damn good freelancer because I get the job done and I deliver on time. And that's just what makes the job of a good freelancer successful. I mean, yeah, it has to be good.
I
but
don't think I would be a good freelancer.
I mean, there's a lot of shit that like I wasn't that great at, but I would deliver on time.
Yeah.
So therefore, they look good. You know,
No.
I managed up and I helped them look good by doing my job.
That's incredible. Okay. And so like, where do you think over the past few years, given like creatively, we know where you kind of like how you've landed where you are, but what like do you think drove you over the past few years to find that like real, would you say this internal confidence that has like allowed you to be really authentic? Because like, I know kind of the stuff that's happening for me right now that's like pushing me out of my comfort zone. And like what something you said that really resonated with me is like to us, we're sitting here looking back and you'll just see like once it starts rolling back, like I can't watch the episodes. I can only listen. Like it's so fucking cringe sometimes to sit here. But like, you know, that if you're uncomfortable, you're not progressing.
Yeah.
You know, like I could sit here thinking about doing this, but the fact that I actually got the crew together, we've prepped, we've done this, so you're here, like we're actually producing and putting stuff out there. And like what Ryan always says is just like, you got to keep the momentum, like one after the next. And like, it is true. The more you do, the more you feel, but it's like, it takes a lot of internal confidence.
It totally does.
And it takes a lot of figuring out what that is. So how did you figure that out?
I think for so long, I have been behind the scenes and helping to build up, whether it's a talent that I work for or a creative director that I've worked for or a brand that I'm working for. I've been the one behind the scenes doing the work. And I kind of had a realization. I was like, I can step forward now. I have the confidence. I can do this.
Right.
I can put together a podcast. I can launch a brand. I have the belief in myself. I'd like to think I have the resume behind me that sort of backs it up.
Right.
And I think that's sort of why at 40, I feel like 40 is the time to do it.
Right.
40, that's sort of why it's a big deal for me, because I think 40 was 39, 38, 39, and now a few months into 40 is when I really found my confidence and my belief in myself. My belief in myself for sure. I think leading up to it, maybe I was a little bit timid or scared, or even if I was confident, I wasn't able to like step out and actually do it and own it. And now it's kind of just like, yeah, I'm doing it. And people, just like what you're doing, people are stoked and people are excited.
Good.
And people want to support and people want to show up and help you. And I think you really realize who matters and who is either a good friend. Like, yeah. You sort of realize a lot about those people. It comes through
in a lot of ways. I mean, I've also experienced that through a lot of just like different avenues my life has turned the past few years. And like when you go through something, whether that's something traumatic, or a divorce, or a breakup, or you have kids, or your family changes, or you move cities, like all these things. When you need people, because it's not all peachy keen out there.
No, it's not.
You really see who shows up, and then it's like who you're showing up for, and then you're not getting it back from.
Oh yeah,
Or who's conveniently then showing up for things when it was like this versus that, and then it just like it does, and like that's something else. Being 40 for me, like this is what allowed me to at least live into my authentic. It was like you have to sit here and I know that whoever's looking at me, that like I can't worry about all the shit that's about to be also said about me. But you know, like you actually have to be like okay with it, like, and you're naive to think that it won't be. I can like list a handful of people that are talking mad shit right now, and it's just like. That's their opinion. They're never going to understand maybe my perspective. And like, there's just that, like knowing that, you know what? I'm not going to be everyone's favorite. People aren't going to like this. People aren't going to want to tune in. This isn't going to be for everyone.
No, it's not.
But that's okay. And then I think about like, do I like everybody? Do I listen to everyone's podcast? Like all these things. But like when you flip it, you're like, no, I don't. I think that person's annoying. I wouldn't listen to this and do that. So like, that's exactly the way people are going to perceive you. But you have to just relinquish all that like, you
can't
the perspectives, the
everything
angles.
To everybody.
Yeah.
I once had a creative director tell me, and I'll never forget it. I was putting together a project and there were like 15 people who were giving me feedback. And in this ad campaign that I was working on, I was trying to incorporate all the different opinions from literally maybe 10 to 15 people.
Yeah.
And my boss looked at me. He was like, this is a mess. I said, why? He's like, because I can see you're listening to everybody. You're trying to be the nice guy, make everybody feel like they're a part of it. He said, but you know who's like who's lost in the end? You. Because this looks like shit and you're not listening to what you actually think is best. And I think it's great advice. Like, you can't make everybody happy with everything. And
appeasing.
You can't be.
No, but okay. But also, this is a challenge. When you're like someone like you and I, and you have empathy and you connect with people very easily, it's hard for that sometimes, those boundaries, and for that not to play in.
Yeah, it is.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
It's not easy to always go personal and intimate and then just boom that up. So it's almost like you have to be really discerning in certain ways. And it's like, I guess what happened to me is that like, I didn't realize I had to be discerning. And then you like really wake up and you're like, not everyone is doing this like how I would do this. And then you realize that you either are sacrificing yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you're sacrificing someone else. And at that point, when it gets to sometimes like that dirt, like I just was in situations where I'm like, I actually have no one else to turn to but myself. So I can't sacrifice myself anymore.
Totally.
And so it was just like, all right, bye. And it was just like, it almost like, and they always say that, like, you have to kind of go through some of those like struggles or those hard moments to like get you to that place. But then it works.
I think when I was younger, I said yes a lot to people to make them happy in whatever situation. Honestly, it could be as like mundane as going to a movie that I didn't want to see. Like just things that I would say yes to make the collective happier. And now I won't. Like I'm not an asshole by any means. I want people to feel comfortable and I want people to feel good. But like if it's not, it's a fine line, right? Because if it's not entirely serving me or it's putting me back, I'm absolutely not going to do it. I won't do it.
Right. And is it selfish to assume at this point in life, like with relationships, and we're going into relationships just in general and how it's impacted like careers and stuff, but like, isn't that like what this is all about? Your relationships like want to be meaningful, right? Your relationships need to like impact you in a positive way. And now we're at least a little bit more aware, once again in the 40s, where like you've been through a few things where you're like, okay, like this is where the boundaries go up and this is where they don't. And I'm not like, I'm okay not to budge on them. So people that are your people, they kind of come along in that journey with you and they go up, 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 but it does get a little bit smaller.
And that's okay.
You know, but for you and I, honestly, we're very, like, we've always been the people that have so many big networks and a lot of people. And I've had to like duck out of a few scenes and like just whatever, which is okay. But it's hard. It's once again, I walk into the Starbucks on Spadina that I could run into someone and so whatever, because I am choosing myself and like, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like that it's just like, this is what it is. This is what I'm doing. This is who I am. And like,
you don't want to go through your whole life just pleasing other people.
Yeah.
And exactly. And
but it comes really naturally to do it. So it took me a really conscious effort not to be a crowd pleaser and not to appease other people and to really stop and think, do I actually want a Greek salad with bread or do I want a fucking turkey club?
Yeah.
I want a turkey club with mayo.
Right.
I do. And and French fries, well done.
But now will you order that?
Yeah.
You will.
If like I'm having a good day, not a bad day, cheat day. That is the beauty also for at least me having my kids 50% of the time. Like the freedom was startling at the beginning. I'm like, I could go and with my ADHD, I'm like, well, I could go to a workout class. Oh, I could go to this. I could sit at home and masturbate. I could go on a date. I could go out with you. I would like my head. I'm like, I had too much freedom. But with that, it became like learning how to value it and like really taking that time in and honing and like stopping. And so just stopping and thinking like you could do all those things, but if you could own that route, that's what happened last time. And it's like giving you that like moment to pause. And with all these things in life, you can't predict how things play out. But for one, it's really one of the things that I choose to look at as like this is a blessing that came out of something really kind of unfortunate. Like in a way, like I wouldn't have planned on being divorced by 40 and have 3 young kids and doing it like kind of alone. But I get to parent how I want to parent now. I get to have that like the moments to reflect to myself and kind of have composure. And like, I know a lot of people also don't have that and that luxury. So it's kind of just like looking at things like that too. Like,
but I fully relate and I completely agree and I totally understand. And I think these are the moments why 40 was so impactful for me, because at 30, even 25, 35, I wasn't really having conversation. I don't know what I was talking about.
The relationships. I think we were just wasted, being silly, running around. Like I was just going. I honestly, it was almost like I was like sleep living.
Yeah.
I was like very aware and conscious, and I had really great friends. I've kept a lot of friends. We've been friends forever. But it's almost like I don't actually feel like you and I also our conversations like flipped. Like I would say like a year or two ago.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like I think we both were just like ready to like, let's go, let's elevate a little bit higher because like we were so close and we knew everything. And it was like, that's also what I mean. Like you can have friends and I'm like, I just know we're not going deep with that. So that's fine though. Those are boundaries. Like that's where I'm going to have a work relationship, a casual relationship.
But I have friends like that in my life where we don't really go that deep and that's okay. And I have other relationships where I don't want to go that deep. That's on me. I want to sort of keep it at surface. Then I have other friends like you and some others in New York where it's like, yeah, let's go there and talk about what scares us and what makes us excited and what the future. You know, I think for so long, I used to always talk about the past, like live in the past and nostalgic for the moments. Even when I was talking about like Claude Watson, I'm not living in the past when I went to Claude Watson, but that stuff gets me excited and makes me super, super happy. But like that's behind us and that's a great space to recognize.
Right.
But
we don't need to sit there.
Let's super awesome too. And because it's not super exciting too. I know.
Right. So it's like, and like, how do you feel about manifesting?
I don't really know what it means. Like I
think it's like I think it can mean different things to different people. Like I don't think there's a definition of what it is. Like literally
is it putting something out there that you want?
Like you actually don't know.
I don't really know what it means. Like
no, I'm not like gonna.
It's not vision boarding, manifesting. So
no,
like
I honestly think it's like you're actually putting energy, whether you're vocalizing, verbalizing, writing down, doing whatever. You're expressing what you would want for the future to come.
I don't do that.
I think it really works and I really believe in it.
But are you saying things out loud?
Sometimes, like when I'm by myself, if I'm feeling really like if like I just finished a podcast and they tell me to do it because I'm really bad at doing it otherwise. Yeah. But I started writing sometimes and I can do it that way. Like there's different ways. I do it through movement. Okay. Like I like to dance and move a lot. Yeah. Very weird, but that's where like I get my like
cool.
I don't know. It's like it comes out. But like energy. The whole thing with manifesting is that I feel like you have to kind of what we talked about before thinking. You can't be you have to be forward thinking about it. So like I don't know if you're sitting there being like I'm okay. I manifest on my podcast that one day Jerry Seinfeld's going to be on it.
That's for you.
I'm saying it, but I've talked to Dahlia about it. I'm putting it out there. I'm putting it out in the universe for them to hear that. So like when it does happen that one time in the future, years and years from now, or who knows, that I put that energy out there. If nobody even knows that I want that to happen, how is it ever going to happen? If you don't ever even say, I think it's a good idea to have a podcast, how's your podcast going to even happen? So manifesting is already it's just like, it's.
I hear you.
It's like one step further than doing what you need to do because like, I think it's so fun. Like I'm a weirdo. I have so many things that I manifest. I have a manifest Pinterest board.
You do. I guess I manifest in to-do lists. Like, does that...
To-do lists can be okay, but they really overwhelm me because my to-do lists never end. So it feels like
but my to-do lists are specific. Like if I have a to-do list for my podcast, I have a list of guests. Some I can get, some I want, some are pipe dreams, but they're all written down.
Okay, I think you're doing it, but like let's be more positive about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so like this is typically what I like to end on. I know I'm thirsty too. Okay, what? Okay, so
thirsty.
What would you say? Would you like? I don't want to be like cheesy and always like, but it is the thing for me. I launched this because getting high is like what for me. Leaning into my purposes, having these conversations, opening up, creating a sense of community. What do you think you're doing to get high on your life? Like, what are you figuring out that you're doing now that makes you feel like your sense of purpose is being whatever that may be for you?
I think I will be creating a space to have really open, meaningful, yet casual conversations with guys around the globe from different walks of life where people who are listening can take something away from it. Whether it's about the hustle, whether that's an interview with somebody who I hope the listeners look up to, whether that's talking about like body issues, which is a huge thing with guys where like somebody who's 12 can like listen to this and gain some confidence from it. I really feel my purpose right now is to tell the stories of really interesting and profound men and create a platform and a community where people can tune in and listen to it.
And that's like what's like kind of like that's what keeps you like filling your cup. Like that's like super
it totally
motivating.
excites me.
That's really
it
cool.
totally gets me going. I think it's like you said, it's a lot of work. There's a lot of legs to this thing that I'm doing, but
it's meaningful to you.
It's super meaningful.
And it will be really meaningful. I honestly think this is a really important field of work that you're digging into, and you're the right guy to have some of these conversations. I think that people need to feel comfortable to be able to talk about something, and not everyone can make people feel comfortable. So like you're already kind of heading in the right direction. And
I'm going to get like, I'm working with a slew of really awesome big names. Like, it's going to be interesting. People are going to want to hear what these guys have to say.
Well, because like you've had to interview these people your whole life. Like they send you out on these jobs. It's like, I was going to say, do you ever get scared? Like who is like one of the biggest people you've ever met? And like, are you shitting your bricks? Like being like, are you shitting bricks? Being like, am I going to like, do you know what I mean? Or are you just kind of like. No, I do.
And I wish the answer was yes, but no, I've met some really awesome people. Like, do you know Coleman Domingo?
Yeah.
Coleman Domingo is an actor. Do you guys know Coleman Domingo? No, he's like a big actor right now. He's just nominated for an Academy Award.
But were you worried? Like you met, what was the thing? Like, were you nervous, or what are you saying you weren't? You were like,
no,
like you don't get intimidated is what I'm saying. Like you could sit there. I mean, there's different things that intimidate different people, but a lot of people would be going intimidated speaking to these like
no, I'm not intimidated.
Celebrities, A-listers, these people. No, you're not.
I'm not intimidated.
Like, you're looking more for just like
fundamentally, we are all the same.
You're that.
We are just people.
Yeah.
We have the same insecurities. They vary from person to person. We're the same. I'm so happy to be here. Honestly, like I said when I sat down, it's you're very good at what you do, and that's the truth. And you made me feel super comfortable. But it was interesting sitting in the
flip,
in the passenger seat.
Yeah, well, good practice too.
Good practice.
Because then you know what people want to, how they want to be asked questions and stuff. You could be like, that was fucking awkward. I'm not gonna do that.
I don't think any question that you asked was too invasive. I don't think it was awkward. I think you managed this conversation incredible. Now I'm giving you a grade on how you did in your own home on your own podcast.
Well, I'll take it.
Will you have me back?
Yeah, duh.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd love to be back.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.